an awesome reminder of living in Florence and being aware of the clouds more, because there's no high rises to block them. So it's a beautiful part of living in this area. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm excited to welcome Linda Addison back. We've had fond memories of her and her late husband coming and introducing us to labyrinth walking and setting it up in our UU and beach. And so today we get to hear her speak. And she has a very eclectic background, having a work history that includes church secretary, professional costume designer, print shop supervisor, technical writer, used car salesperson, 22 years of managing federal grants for an Oregon school district. Her spiritual path is only slightly less eclectic. She and her late husband Larry were young life counselors for several years, who discovered New Thought through Reverend Ruth Miller, while participating in the 2010 Pathways to Transformation Holistic Health event in Yachats. And after retiring in Walport in 2012, Linda continued with studies including 3 extensive Emma Curtis Hopkins programs and a Joe Dispenza intensive workshop in Denver. Recently, she attended a Sufi soul work journey retreat and a Sufi falling into God retreat. Currently, she's beginning a 3-year program to become a leader for Dances of Universal Peace. Linda hosts the Walport Journey Circle, attends Merry Meet Women's Group, and Seal Rock Chanting Group. She is president of the Ocean Unity Board of Trustees and a friend of FOOF. Please give a warm welcome to Linda Addison to speak about the power of words.
I have to say it is delightful to be at my home away from home. As we all have been enjoying Oregon's delightful liquid sunshine today. Do words really have power? Well, in Proverbs 18:21, we're told death and life are in the power of the tongue. Moving forward in time a bit, the New Testament, Galatians, Jesus taught that whatever we sow, we shall reap. This means whatever we send out into the universe, in word or deed, will return to us. And if we send that out with intense emotion, meaning we really mean what we're saying, we will receive back multiplied. I demonstrated this to myself kind of unaware. I enjoy the summer bounty of garden vegetables, and especially corn. I mentioned this to a friend while strolling through the farmer's market. I told her I really loved corn on the cob. I said it and was practically drooling at the time. Within a week, one neighbor and 2 other friends brought me fresh corn. None of them the friend I was with at the farmer's market. So I sowed the image and I literally reaped a bushel. Emma Curtis Hopkins says the truth about our human experience is that it has been created by our own thoughts and expressed in our own words. Ernest Holmes tells us the word we speak is the law of our lives, and nothing hinders its operation but ourselves. We may use this creative word for whatever purpose we desire. So, why is it important to know that our words have power? I'm sure all of you are familiar with the Emoto experiment with water crystals and the power that words had in that. A few years ago, my husband Larry and I had the privilege of doing the Emoto rice experiment at Ocean Unity in Newport. The rice was cooked in distilled water, divided into clean canning jars, and labeled. One was labeled love, and the other labeled hate. The jars were placed in a prominent place in our bookstore with instructions. Look at the jars, and tell the love jar, I love you, you are beautiful, nourishing, and clean. Look at the hate jar and say, I hate you, you're ugly, unhealthy, and dirty. At the end of 7 weeks, the love rice was still white with a creamy liquid gathering in the bottom. The hate rice was covered with spots of blue-green mold and big black patches. When I took the lid off the love rice, it smelled slightly sweet and not sour at all. When I took the lid off the hate jar, it didn't really smell bad. It was completely dried up and hard. I had to chisel it out of the jar with a knife. And it was black all the way through. The odor was dry and musty. I think the Emoto experiment demonstrates the power of words. And an interesting fact in this is that a lot of our folks in Ocean Unity didn't want to say the word hate. So they pretty much ignored it. They just concentrated on love and, oh, yes, you. So ignoring someone is just as powerful as saying something negative to them. We also did an experiment at home. We have a water pitcher, and we would write words on painter's tape and stick it to the water pitcher. We put words on there like awareness, clarity, breathe, respect, love, believe, faith, humor, gratitude, centipede, beauty. The following week we'd peel that one off to make room for the new word. And I kept putting the tape on the refrigerator. So after a few months, there were a lot of words on the refrigerator. Very positive words. We left on a trip to New Mexico for almost a month. I did not remember to give my produce to my neighbor before I left. When we returned 3.5 weeks later, the lettuce, the cucumbers, the peppers, all of it was exactly as it was when we left. I'll let you decide if the power of words taped on the refrigerator is what did it. Compliments. Have you ever noticed that when you say something nice to someone else, afterwards you get this kind of a little warm, fuzzy feeling for a while? This is because when you compliment someone else, your mind thinks you're complimenting yourself. The words are in your mind, and the mind hears the words with a pleasant emotion attached to them, but it does not see the other body. Again, I'm a fan of Emma Curtis Hopkins, so here she goes. Words are clear indicators of our heart's beliefs. And what our heart feels and believes, we are sure to speak. And our experience will follow. People can sometimes joke themselves into very unpleasant experiences because the subconscious mind is like a computer. It uses a write once, read only disk. Because our unconscious mind functions like a computer, as many as 150,000 negative, low-energy commands are inherited, picked up from parents, teachers, and authority figures, and filed away by the age of 7. That's 150,000 by the age of 7. Our subconscious takes every thought and word literally. And this is important. Our subconscious does not have a sense of humor. My daughter demonstrated this fact. She was visiting us, and we had just attended a presentation by Ruth Miller when she released the book, The New Game of Life and How to Play It. We were in the kitchen preparing dinner, and all of a sudden we hear, "Oh my God, I'm never going to say that again." Later, she explained that being single, her friends are often asking if she's looking for someone. And she had been answering them, "Not really, and if I don't find someone, I'll just be the old lady at the end of the street with 100 cats. Not anymore. Emma also says, our words are our own, to do with as we choose. We create our destiny and build our life by our words. And my daughter has continued to use words and build her life. And she's currently studying at the Holmes Institute to become a minister. It was introduced to her through that book that I showed you, How to Play the Game of Life. So what kind of power do words have? I've given some examples. Low energy words are associated with low level emotions. And here's synchronicity of the universe. They're like little clouds that block the sunshine. Think fog. Are we all familiar with fog? Fog often forms close to the ground. It limits our visibility, both our ability to see others and others' ability to see us. Fog muffles and distorts sound and keeps us unaware of our forward movement. And all this fog is manifested from low energy emotions brought about from low energy thoughts and words. The fog in our life we create. My husband often said, words have baggage. Many of our words have baggage. And some of our words have packed enough for a world cruise. So there is a mind-body connection as well. Negative low-energy words eventually will manifest physically. The work of Phineas Parkhurst Quimby in the early 19th century, he was a mentalist and a mesmerist. He was the first to recognize that our belief systems and our thoughts and words are connected to illness. So how can we use our power, the power in words? 20% of our words have emotional content. And these are the words that our mind searches for. If I say, I hate spinach, my mind does not go searching for spinach. It searches for the word attached to the emotion, hate. And that's what we come away with. Remember all the corn I got? I had a lot of emotion attached to saying I really liked it. Another thing we can do to use the power of words is something called switching. I was always telling my husband, don't let me forget my keys. And he was very faithful. Don't forget your keys. I would forget my keys. So after studying Every Word Has Power by Yvonne Oswald, and we went through this course, we began switching the word forget to remember. So I would tell him, help me remember my keys. And faithfully, he was great. He'd say, don't forget, please remember your keys. And I would remember my keys. So I'm going to take us through a quick exercise. The unconscious mind does not recognize negative commands. So it does not recognize not. All of you sitting here, do not think of a yellow rubber ducky. And I heard that after your garage sale you had a lot of reasons to remember. Do not think of a yellow rubber ducky. Do not think of a yellow rubber ducky with green spots. Do not remember the number 126. Which number are you not to remember? Your subconscious doesn't recognize not. Here's another example. Tell a toddler, don't touch that. What's the very next thing they'll do? Touch it. So let's talk about the word I'm dieting. This word has a lot of baggage. This word implies several things. First, it implies I'm overweight. Second, I will be hungry. Third, and this is the real implication, I'm not okay as I am. So how do you switch the word diet? One suggestion, I'm choosing healthy foods. I'm feeling better eating this way. And the one I use is I'm on a meal management plan. So here's some other switches. You hear this all the time. Someone helps you out with your groceries into the car, and you tell them, thank you so much, I appreciate it. And they say, no problem. We can, and I've done it myself. But now I'm changing to, you're welcome. Or glad to help. High energy words. High energy infused into the body. and in thoughts. Another switch, it's hard. It's hard to do the landscaping at my house, lifting rock. It's hard. I feel like it's hard. Instead, try, it's not easy. Subconscious doesn't hear the not. It becomes, it's easy. I'm broke. How can we switch? I'm broke. Try, I'm not rich. Subconscious doesn't recognize not. It says, I'm rich. And what about, I'm sick? Switch this to, I'm not very healthy. And what you'll end up with is, I'm very healthy. Another word that has power is but. But implies judgment, and it's usually followed by an excuse. So switch this to and. Just substitute and. Try is another word, and it's often used in therapy to ensure failure. So switch try to I am improving, or I am doing better. Terry Cole Whitaker says all worries begin with a word that triggers an emotional response of fear, doubt, and even depression about what will happen or not happen in our future. Buddha advised us, words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. We all know that if we want to see change, it has to begin with us. We do have the power to overcome patterns in our world. First, we switch our feelings and thoughts is often words. It means whether we speak them out loud or silently to ourselves. To see change in a world around us, the focus of our spiritual lives is to switch our old thoughts and words to experience who we really are. Just as our thoughts become words, if we switch our words, our thoughts undergo a change too. And together, this can cause positive new habits. It's a two-way effect. Think of your arteries and veins. The heart infuses blood with oxygen from the lungs and pumps it out to every cell. Negative words and thoughts are like plaque building up, limiting and restricting the flow. Switching to high energy words is like taking a blood thinner. And it eventually dissolves that blockage and allows a healthy spiritual flow. But before successful, right, positive thinking can happen, the key to success is increased awareness in our self-talk and our mouth habits. Without awareness, nothing changes. Switching always begins with awareness, and only then do we have the ability to choose. And here is where we exercise our free will. We always have a choice when we are aware. My goal for today is that we may become actively aware of the words we use and the thoughts those words are creating. May we become aware of the words we use to communicate with others and with ourselves. Remember these words from Emma. Our words in the silence of our minds are as powerful as our spoken audible words. If you want to become aware of the words you are using and choose to switch, I've prepared a list of high energy and low energy words for you to pick up after the service. It'll be in the offering basket as it comes around. High energy words on one side, low energy words on the other. And begin practicing switching. Become aware as you look at that list of words what you're doing, what you're really saying to yourself, to myself, when we say these words. So I will leave you with a Chinese proverb. You can live with tea and cold rice, but not with cold words. Thank you.